Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about my hair loss. So I have a condition called alopecia areata. First, I'd like to explain kind of what alopecia areata is, because I don't think a lot of people know about it. And then I really want to give you guys kind of like my journey going through life with this condition. So alopecia areata is an autoimmune disease. The textbook definition of it is that it is sudden hair loss that starts with one or more circular bald patches that may overlap. In some cases, it could be the whole scalp, and then in extreme cases, it could be the entire body. We'll get into those later. Those are two different types as well of alopecia. So alopecia is a condition where basically your white blood cells attack the cells in the hair follicles. It causes them to shrink and then dramatically slow down the hair production. Scientists actually don't know what causes alopecia areata, but what they do know is that it is a genetic condition. It's a fairly common condition. 1 in 5 people do have this condition, at least in the US, and that's a pretty big number. 1 in 5 people. I think I read that there are over 200,000 cases diagnosed per year, and that just kind of blows my mind a little bit. Half of the people who have received the diagnosis of alopecia areata will recover within 1 year, but will likely experience more than one episode. 10% of those people that are diagnosed with alopecia will go on to develop further conditions, one being alopecia totalis, I think is how you say that, which is the complete hair loss of the entire scalp, and then alopecia universalis, which is basically just complete hair loss of the scalp and body, so everything. I don't have either of these conditions. I just have alopecia areata, and I think you can tell from the way that I look that it's not extreme, not even slightly extreme. It is extremely mild, and it does not affect my everyday life. But that wasn't always the case. They say it's a genetic disease, so I guess I've had it my whole life, but the symptoms didn't really start coming up until I was in about 4th grade. So I was about 10 years old. So alopecia is not contagious, but it can be difficult to adapt to emotionally. For many people, it's a traumatic disease, and it warrants treatment addressing the emotional aspects of the hair loss. People might feel sad and depressed and grieve over their hair loss, which makes sense. It's something we live with every day. It's something I think about every day. How does my hair look? How am I going to take care of my hair? And then, for it to just sometimes not be there, that's really traumatic. And I know for me, it's for sure been a traumatic experience. In 4th grade, I went to a movie with my family. And I was sitting there, and I was like feeling the back of my head in the middle of the movie theater. There were bald spots, and there was one right in the center, and that freaked me out. Now, as a 10-year-old, I didn't know what alopecia was. I didn't know there's any sort of condition that caused that kind of hair loss. But what I did know is that cancer patients don't have hair, so that probably means I have cancer. So for years I freaked out thinking I had cancer, but I never said anything to anyone. And I should have said something, but I was a kid and I didn't understand, and I just thought that I was gonna die, basically, which is really sad, but that's just kind of what happened. So I later on realized that the reason cancer patients sometimes don't have hair is because of the chemo that they endure. Not because of the cancer itself, typically. But that didn't cross my mind when I was little. I just knew that people with cancer were bald, and that's why my hair is going bald, because I have cancer. Which, thankfully, I don't have cancer, so that's not what it was. But it was really scary for me, because I was so scared that I didn't want to say anything to anyone. So a few years went by. I never said anything about it. It never really affected my life that much, other than I was just upset because I thought I had cancer. But a few years go by, and now it's 8th grade, so I'm about 13 years old, and it started to get really bad. And at this point, it was affecting my daily life. It was affecting how people looked at me, and also in this point in life, I didn't know that I had curly hair. I just thought my hair was a big, giant, crazy mess. I'll insert some pictures here if I can find some. My hair just like wasn't good. I had just gone through a phase where I was dyeing it a whole bunch, and so it was really dead. It was short because in 4th or 5th grade, I did end up cutting my hair to about here, and it was the worst experience. It got super big and fluffy. It was insane. Although that was 3 years later, 5th, 6th, 7th. Although that was about 3 or 4 years later, I still was recovering from having my hair so short. Yeah, it was not a good experience. I would never suggest that. It was really scary because it started to affect my everyday life. I was starting to get bald spots all on the back of my head, to the point where it was more bald spots than hair. And this was really scary, and I don't tell people this because it still is kind of like a soft spot for me, because I knew people were looking at me in school, and I knew there was nothing I could do about it. So I hadn't figured out my hair, so I never wore my hair down. I strictly wore my hair up unless I was straightening it, and then I wore it down. But most of the time my hair was in a bun, which means that you can just see all those bald spots. And I would try to cover it up, but I couldn't focus in school because I just knew that the person behind me was staring at my bald spots. And I knew when I walked down the halls that people were staring at my bald spots. And because it had gotten so bad, my grandmother, my Nana, decided to take me to the doctor and see what was going on. So we went to the doctor, and they scraped my scalp where the bald spots were. They said it came back normal and there was nothing they could do further, so they referred us to a dermatologist. She immediately saw my hair and was like, "You have alopecia areata." And we're like, what is that? So she kind of explained what it is. She then did a treatment for my hair, which was injecting steroids into my bald spots. I don't know what this does. I guess it promotes hair growth, but I don't quite understand that aspect of it. It was really painful, but it worked. So after that, my hair started to grow back. But something really cool that I just think is like awesome is that whenever your hair grows back from having alopecia, it can actually come back white. So sometimes I have like silver or white or gray hair, and it's so cool, and it's like I actually kind of love it because it's I just think it's so interesting. Like, I'm 19 years old, but I have like gray hair sometimes. I went back a few months after that to do it again, and it's one of those things where you can do it consistently if your alopecia areata is really bad. Mine wasn't that bad, and once I did those 2 treatments, it kind of went away for a bit. And it didn't go away completely. It's never gone away completely. But to this day, after I've had that second treatment in 8th grade, when I was 13 years old, so almost 7 years ago, it's been fine. And I haven't really had it affect my daily life. Now, that's not to say that I haven't had any bald spots, because I have. Overall, it's, one, I've come to terms with it. So it's something that whenever I talk to people, I'm not trying to hide. My hair comes up a lot in conversation because it's so big. So a lot of times I'll just counter that by saying, yeah, and also I have alopecia areata, which catches people off guard because my hair is so crazy that they would never guess that I have hair loss. I also just think that it's important that I don't care as much what people think about me. So I don't really think about it that much. Like, it's kind of just my life now, and I've come to terms with that, but it took me a while to get here. Alopecia areata can also affect the fingernails and toenails, which has been the main source of symptoms for me, and something I never realized. And actually, I never even realized that it was alopecia that was doing this until filming this video. I've always had extremely brittle nails, rough nails. I always get these little white spots on my nails, and I never know what it is. And people tell me it's like calcium deficiency. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You can get pinpoint dents, white spots and lines. Your nails can become rough. Your nails can lose their shine, and they become thin, and they'll split. So let me kind of show you what my nails look like. These are my nails. Really beautiful. So they're kind of dirty and uneven, but like, who cares? So right now, I at all times I have at least one nail that has a white spot. Right now it's my pinky nail, and this one has like a little, I don't know if it's going to be focusing on it, but I don't know if you can see, but at the very bottom it's got like a little white spot down there. None of my nails have that right now, but at some point that'll go away, and then a couple others will get them. Something else is my nails actually have like lost their shine. I don't have shiny nails. I have very matte looking nails, and also they're extremely brittle and extremely thin. I can like completely bend it down. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like, it's something that's kind of been a conversation starter. Not even alopecia, just my nails. It is a really interesting symptom that I wanted to talk about because I didn't actually know that. The only symptom within my hair coming back has been the white hair, which I think is really cool. And I think like whenever that happens, which it hasn't happened in a while, but when it does happen, I always show people and they think it's really cool. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention that it is a genetic disease. Yeah. Basically, your immune system is just attacking your body. And this actually happens to me on multiple different levels. I have psoriasis. I mainly have it on my elbows, and I can actually do an entire video on psoriasis if you guys like. So just let me know if you'd like to see that video. Even if no one wants to see it, I'll probably make it anyway because that's just kind of what I do. But yeah, it says here that 1 in 5 people that have it have a close family member with it, which is interesting because that's not how it is in my case. I will probably make future videos on this subject, but only if my hair changes or if it becomes worse. If I do end up having to get steroid injections again, I will for sure film it and show you guys what that's like, because I know that's really interesting for people to see, especially people who have alopecia, and even more so for people who have it and don't know that that's what they have, because it's not something that's well known. I know there's a lot of doctors out there that are amazing at what they do, and they do it because they want to help people, but there's a lot of doctors out there that are pieces of shit, and you really just kind of have to work around that. So I highly suggest that you push for a diagnosis on alopecia if you think that this is something that you have. The links to all of the websites that I've used to make this video are going to be at the top of the description box so that you can further do some investigation yourself to see if maybe you have alopecia or if somebody else you know has alopecia. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope it was helpful to you. Let me know down in the comments if you think you have alopecia areata, or if you have something similar to this, any symptoms like this. I would love to start a discussion on it. Thank y'all so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, I forgot to say that. And like this video because it will really help my channel grow and for people to find more videos like this. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next one. Bye! And we were watching this movie with dinosaurs in it. Maybe it was Jurassic Park. I don't really remember. I hated... No, it wasn't. There was dinosaurs next door. Like a bunch of pin needles in my bald spots. Changes with it. Oh.